Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm finally free, and for those of you who don't know, I was basically stuck in quarantine for more than 10 days up until last week, and this is the first vlog that I'll be able to record outside of the apartment, and I'm super excited for that. In today's video, we're going to check out Yee Hwa restaurant. So my wife basically discovered this restaurant on Doha Foodies. It's a popular foodie Facebook group, and then afterwards we're going to be discussing what life will be like in Qatar in 2022. I hope you guys are going to stay until the end, and if you want to support my channel, please smash the like button and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get going to Yee Hwa. So we just finished our Saturday brunch at Yee Hwa restaurant. Guys, I highly recommend going there, especially for the Saturday brunch. The food quality is amazing. I actually don't have any doubts that the a la carte menu will be exactly the same. So even if you don't decide to go for the Saturday brunch, definitely go for the a la carte menu. It will be amazing, and I'm sure you will love it if you have any love for Asian cuisine or specifically Korean food. So we have a few errands to run the Doha Festival City. So we just quickly stopped over here after Yee Hwa restaurant. So I'm just about to meet my wife. She's chilling in Starbucks. Now let's get into what I think living in Qatar will be like in 2022. Now this is by no means an exhaustive list of factors that could impact the quality of life here in Qatar for this year, and I will purely be expressing my opinions and thoughts. However, whenever possible, I will try to add some external sources of information that could hopefully back up the points I'm trying to make. So let's get into the first point. So the first point for me is Co-Vid restrictions in Qatar in 2022. In 2020, when the whole pandemic just started and the whole world was basically locked down, here in Qatar we had about 1,500 to 2,000 daily infections at our peak, at the worst, right? And during that period when we really had a high daily rate of infections, everything was basically locked down here in Qatar. At the worst point in 2022, we were able to go to pharmacies and supermarkets and petrol stations and banks, I believe, but most other businesses and services were closed down. Now, in 2022 January, basically at our worst, we were at about 4,000 daily infections. Now, for the most part, in Qatar, it was basically life as normal. There were some restrictions that was brought in. However, it was not big restrictions, to be honest. I believe one of the major ones was that we had to wear a mask whenever we go outside of the apartment, with the exception if you are exercising. Because before that, we were able to go into public spaces that is outdoors without a mask. And that was really awesome. And it was a small change in January. Now, that was obviously to combat the surge of daily infections. However, if you compare that with 2020, it is a huge difference, right? So both the UK and Denmark are in the process of removing all COVID restrictions, and this is definitely a positive sign for 2022. As I've mentioned, we don't have many restrictions at this point in time in any case. However, it can just improve towards the middle of the year or towards the end of the year. So that's why I believe life will slowly go back to normal in 2022. And from the start of the pandemic, the best time to live in Qatar. So since the start of the pandemic in 2020 now, more jobs will be available. And I've noticed that on LinkedIn, there are companies doing open job fairs, and on the online career portals, I've made a video about this before. I will link it in my description. So on those online career portals, there are a lot more jobs that's being advertised, not just for hospitality. We are looking at a significant number of hotels opening up just in 2022 alone, which means there's thousands of jobs that will be available. However, in other industries as well. So in general, in 2022, more jobs will be available in Qatar since the start of the pandemic. And a question I get asked quite often, would it make sense for somebody who's looking to relocate to Qatar for work to travel here as a tourist first and then start looking for work, or to apply from back home? I would always say, if you are really interested to work here in Qatar, try to apply from your country of residence, see what the feedback is like. And if you really have the opportunity to come to Qatar, it will make the recruitment process much easier if you are locally available. However, obviously, you have to be a right fit for a job and you have to do well in the interview and all that. Companies are much more likely to recruit somebody locally than they would from abroad. Not saying that companies do not recruit from abroad. However, with what's happening with Co-Vid, it does take much longer now to recruit somebody from abroad. So being locally available gives you an advantage of getting a job. So the third point on my list, in 2022 in Qatar, rent will definitely increase for many people. So I'm part of many Facebook groups here in Qatar, and I've seen this topic coming up quite a lot. Many people already have seen significant increases in their rent this year, and many that are due to renew this year have seen a significant increase in their rent as well. Personally, my tenancy agreement is due to renew in a couple of months, so I'm hoping that we will not get too much of an increase. However, unfortunately, it seems that many landlords are more interested in making more revenue over the short term than having a consistent and reliable tenant that will basically pay on a monthly basis over the long term. So we are keeping our fingers crossed that we don't get too much of an increase in rent in Qatar in 2022. However, it appears that that increase will definitely happen for many people. Moving on, family or friends visits to Qatar in 2022. Now, as I've mentioned before, Qatar is definitely easing up on travel restrictions, and it's much easier now to travel to Qatar than it was in 2021. And if you are expecting any family or friends to visit you this year, it's important for them to be aware of the moph.gov.qa website. There they can find all travel restrictions, or travel requirements rather, and just a couple of things that will really help make the travel process much easier is obviously being fully vaccinated. And if your country is on the green list here in Qatar, basically makes traveling to Qatar much easier, because if you're fully vaccinated, you do not require to be quarantined, which is awesome. Nobody wants to be in quarantine if they come here for vacation. But unfortunately, for countries that are on a red list or an exceptional red list, they are still basically required to quarantine at the hotel. So the Ministry of Public Health basically updates the country classification on this green list, red list, or exceptional red list, usually at the end of the month. So it's probably better to travel within the first 3 weeks of the month, because towards the end of the month, travel requirements are always updated. And if you are on a green list, for example, and now at the end of the month, Ministry of Public Health updates their country classification and your country has now been listed on the red list or an exceptional red list, now all of a sudden anybody looking to travel to Qatar needs to book a quarantine hotel. It's probably better to wait until the end of the month to see what are the updates from the Ministry of Public Health, and if there's any big changes that could impact your country where you are traveling from and possibly make traveling to Qatar a little bit more challenging. So the biggest sporting event in the world, the FIFA World Cup, will take place from the 21st of November up until the 18th of December of this year. And as I've mentioned in one of my other videos, Qatar is expecting about 1.5 million visitors during this period. That is absolutely nuts to think about, considering the country's population is about 2.6 million people. Now, if you have family or friends that are looking to visit during 2022, and if they are not super keen on football, it would probably be better for them to come before or after the Football World Cup. Because during the Football World Cup, you can imagine accommodation will be much more expensive, flight tickets will be much more expensive, amongst other things. Otherwise, for the most part, traveling is definitely improving in Qatar in 2022. So this is a good segue into my final point number 5. What will life be like in Qatar during the FIFA World Cup? Now, nobody knows for sure. Definitely not me as well. However, I've been in Qatar for about 4.5 years now, and I can give you my thoughts and opinion on the matter. So in December 2021, Qatar hosted the Arab Cup, and there was a lot of tourists that visited Qatar during this period. And the Corniche, which is quite a busy road, was basically closed during the Arab Cup. And as you can imagine, this caused some congestion on other roads and it caused a bit of delays in terms of traffic. But if they are going to do the same thing during the FIFA World Cup, and as I've mentioned, we're expecting about 1.5 million visitors during this period, traveling around town will definitely be more challenging in regards to traffic. I believe it will be beneficial if you get used to the metro station before the start of the FIFA World Cup, because it'll probably be better and more convenient to use the metro station to get to certain destinations in Doha rather than using your car, considering that there will be much more congestion on the roads. So if you're anything like me, you probably enjoy your coffee at your favorite coffee shop or cafe. Now, if that coffee shop or cafe happens to be inside of a mall, finding a seat will probably be difficult during the FIFA World Cup with the influx of tourists. Now, this is already an issue on the weekends at some malls where you will basically find it very difficult to find a seat. Another favorite pastime of many residents and locals is to do a staycation at your favorite hotel on the weekend. Now, doing this during the FIFA World Cup will be very challenging since many, if not all of the hotels will be allocated to either visitors, teams, or the media. Now, it doesn't mean that it will be impossible to get a room during the FIFA World Cup. However, I can imagine it will be very challenging. And if you do happen to get a room, you'll probably pay extremely high rates per day. So doing staycations during the FIFA World Cup will probably be something that you have to put off until after the FIFA World Cup. Now, these are some of the factors that I think will impact living in Qatar in 2022. Now, if you have any points that you would like to highlight, please drop it in the comment section. And if you like this video, please smash the like button. And if you'd like to see similar content to this in the future, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon. I'll see you guys in the next video.